Hey everyone, it's me, back with another episode of What If, my new totally not hijacked from Marvel series about alternate endings for Wings of Fire. Today's episode is going to be what if Byrne got hit with Glory's venom instead of Scarlet. This has some pretty big implications since a large part of Scarlet's arc and plot points come from her getting hit by Glory, and of course she had a massive impact on the series. But I'm really going to focus more on the impact on the Dragonets themselves. As usual, please excuse any mistakes I make. I haven't read these books in a while. Just like in the original story, everything gets confusing and dragons start screaming when the mysterious liquid hits the scales and begins to sizzle. Mass panic erupts as dragons hurry to flee. But instead of Scarlet being the dragoness to lose her face, Byrne is. And Byrne isn't as lucky as Scarlet would have been. As the venom splatters over her eye, Byrne falls, bellowing. Scarlet has a split second to make her choice and she whirls, slamming into Glory as she tries to escape her chains. The chaos grows around them as Scarlet drags Byrne's body inside, ordering her guards to follow her with Glory. Scarlet, seeing a chance to seize even more power, hides Byrne and swears the guards around her to secrecy, with a helpful dose of violent threats to secure their silence. Hours later, as some semblance of order finally returns, an official statement is released. Byrne is in a coma, alive, but for now unresponsive, and Queen Scarlet will be taking command of her armies until she awakens, as per the princess's final wish. Because Byrne was her own commanding officer, it's easy for Scarlet to insert herself as the new leader of Byrne's portion of the Sandwing army. Although some dragons question the legitimacy of this change, nobody is bold enough to do it where Scarlet can hear them. And so, even though Byrne is dead and the war should therefore be over, Scarlet manages to keep it going while gaining even more power for herself. Meanwhile, the Dragonets of Destiny have barely escaped the Sky Kingdom, and they didn't make it out unscathed. Once they make it safely out of Scarlet's reach, hiding off the coast of the sea between Seawing and Mudwing territory, the Dragonets break down, each reacting differently to the news that Glory is dead. Who brings them this news? Peril, who saw her chance to escape Scarlet's claws and took it. Peril followed them out of the Sky Kingdom, making sure no one else was able to catch sight of them. When she lands near them, the four Dragonets are heatedly arguing, trying to decide how to go back and rescue Glory. Only Peril saw Scarlet deal a grievous injury to Glory. And if anyone knows about fatal injuries, it's Peril. She can't let Clay go back for someone who's dead. So Peril reveals herself and tells them that Glory didn't make it. Tsunami is instantly furious, almost attacking thoughtlessly while Sunny begs her not to. Clay and Starfight go instantly into shock denial, refusing to believe her. The discussion rapidly erupts into a full-blown shouting match, tension running rampant as the five dragons shout at each other. Tsunami won't believe Peril, calls her a liar and a traitor over and over, while Sunny, crying, tries to calm her older sister down. Starflight works the details out of Peril, doing anything he can to reason his way out of the truth. Clay is too shocked to say anything after a while, staring mutely at nothing as he thinks about Glory. Sunny and Peril manage to convince everyone to stay where they are for the night, hidden, safe from prying eyes for the moment at least. The five of them try to sleep, but nobody finds rest for a long time. The next morning when they wake up, the news has finally set in, leaving the Dragonets numb with grief. They stay there, hidden, for several days. Peril hunts for them and keeps other dragons well away from the mourning Dragonets of Destiny. She listens for news, brings back the tidings of Scarlet's usurpation, of a mystery dragon who attempted to assassinate Queen Byrne but was killed in the process. It's Sunny who finally convinces her siblings to keep going. Even though Glory is gone, they still have a prophecy to fulfill. They still have a world to save. Glory would want them to keep going, to prove to anyone who didn't believe in them that they could stop the war. Pyria is only going to grow more dangerous, especially now with Queen Scarlet's newfound power. Tsunami and Starflight are still too angry and distrustful, respectively, to allow Peril to come with them. Peril isn't exactly happy, but she doesn't want to make things any harder on them, so she agrees to go her separate way from them. Somewhere above, beyond their eyes, Morrowseer decides that his intervention is no longer necessary now that the Rainwing is gone, and the Nightwings leave without betraying their presence. Peril heads south, sticking to the Mud Kingdom. She finds a place to hide near a large inland lake, still in the swamps where nothing can burn and nobody will look for her. The Dragonets head to the Kingdom of Sea, hoping to find some kind of help there. And Scarlet escalates the war, her bloodlust too strong to sate. Time passes and the Dragonets slowly make a name for themselves after the events of the Lost Heir. When they leave the Kingdom of the Sea, it's an uproar, but their own group is only growing tighter-knit. Having decided that Blister is a terrible choice for Queen, the four of them head to the rainforest, hoping to hide and rest there for a bit before finding Blaze. They run into Peril again as they travel. This time their interaction is a bit more civil. Clay suggests again, hesitantly, that Peril join them. After all, they still need a fifth dragon, and the legend would work better if they had a Skywing. Sunny, still desperate to bring peace back to Pyrea, agrees. Starflight and Tsunami are still hesitant, Tsunami leaning more toward outright hatred of peril, but they don't refuse her. So the 5 of them set out to find Blaze. Back in the Sky Kingdom, things are growing worse and worse. Queen Scarlet's dissenters, especially the Sandwings who thought a Skywing shouldn't be commanding them, were growing louder and louder. Theories about Byrne's true fate began circling, and some of the Sandwings who'd previously held rank in her army began demanding to see her. This goes on for almost a year, all while news trickles in on the Dragonets running around all over the continent. Nobody knows exactly what's going on. Rumors fly of Nightwings and Rainwings and Animus magic and shifts of power. Until something changes back in the Sky Kingdom. Scarlet's supporters begin to disappear. One by one, her generals, her strategists, her inner circle, slowly but too regularly to be dismissed, all those who support Scarlet die. All dying due to mysterious, untraceable poison that nobody had ever seen before. Well, nobody but Queen Scarlet herself. When news of Byrne's death is finally leaked, the ticking time bomb that is the Sandwing-Skywing alliance explodes. Another civil war erupts within the Sandwing War of Succession as Byrne's army breaks away from Scarlet. In fact, half the Skywings themselves join the Sandwings, finally seeing a chance to be rid of Scarlet's iron claws. Fighting breaks out over the Skywing capital as Scarlet is spirited away by her guards to one of her hiding places. She plans to wait until the uproar dies down, to wait until she can sally forth and regain control of her armies. Turns out, an isolated queen with only a handful of guards makes her an easy target for an assassin. This time she doesn't miss, and Scarlet's reign of terror is finally brought to a close. Time passes again. The continent has never been so divided. But, finally, the news comes out. Byrne is dead. Scarlet is dead. The Sandwing line of succession is reduced to 2 dragons and can finally be carried out in the traditional way. The queens of the other tribes, upon hearing this news, refuse to fight anymore, unwilling to shed another drop of their blood now that the line is clear. Blister and Blaze are both invited to the empty Sandwing Palace, which, although previously unoccupied, has recently been taken over by yet another player in the game, Thorn of the Scorpion Den, along with the Dragonets of Destiny. The Dragonets issue a challenge. The word spreads all over the continent, and Blister and Blaze cannot ignore the call of Destiny's chosen ones. The 2 of them meet in the courtyard of the palace to duel. The Dragonets still don't want Blister as queen, but they don't exactly have a choice. By now, everyone has decided that they need to focus on stopping the endless civil war before dealing with the Sandwing tribe's internal problems. The duel begins, lit by firelight and surrounded by dragons of every tribe. It seems like Blaze's fate is decided. Almost nobody believes that she can win. Blister is not only the more capable fighter, but it is revealed that she's found a way to weaponize Dragonbite Vipers, and her claws are coated in venom. As Blister is about to land the killing blow, something nobody expected happens. A few tiny drops of venom fly down from the walls, landing right in Blister's face. The conniving princess's body lands, scales still smoking, leaving a shocked, wide-eyed Blaze standing alone in the courtyard. Chaos breaks out again, arguments erupting around them, but the Dragonets have eyes only for the little ripple of empty space at the edge of the palace. The 5 of them take off without explanation, leaving a confused Thorn behind to deal with her tribe. The ripple of air grows harder and harder to see as they chase it until they land in the middle of the desert, alone. And Glory fades back into sight, finally revealing herself. The Dragonets are all yelling over each other, trying to make sense of what's going on, because Glory is alive against all odds, but she never tried to find them, and what had happened until Glory reveals that she doesn't remember them. The Dragonets fall into stricken silence as Glory admits that a little over a year ago she woke up in a cell with a pulsing head injury and no memories. They listen as she explains how she escaped, how she brought low her captors, and how she came to be here tonight. Glory says that in the course of her own research, she decided that Blaze would be the least harmful queen, since at least she had no ambitions about the other tribes. Everyone is beyond shocked at this series of revelations. Even Peril, who had seen Glory die, or so she thought, was surprised. But in the end, the 5 of them were too happy that their friend was alive to dwell on the hurts of the past, instead deciding to focus on the future. And so they left, heading for Jade Mountain and some peace and quiet, hoping to reconstruct themselves and fix what had been lost. They leave the Sandwings to figure out their own queen, and they leave the rest of the tribes to fix their own problems. For now, all the 6 Dragonets wanted was some time to rest. And that's gonna wrap up today's story. Not gonna lie, this one was really fun to write. I know a lot of things don't match the series itself, or they just don't add up, like the Nightwings, who in the canon came to steal Starflight from the arena, or anything that happened with the Eye of Onyx. So I know that like not everything adds up, but like that's kind of the fun of alternate universe stuff like this. Like I can do what I want. Hope you guys enjoyed this take on the first arc. Please let me know in the comments what you thought about Gloria and Scarlet's rise to power. I'd love to hear what you thought. Please be sure to check out the description for my links and other helpful information. Thanks for watching, and I hope everyone has a great week.